What if the loneliest moment of your life is actually the moment that finally sets you free? Think about that for a second. Because one day, after the retirement party is over, after the fake smiles, the cheap cake, the handshakes, the hugs, it will definitely stay in touch, promises. You wake up the next morning and something feels off. The phone stops ringing. The messages slow down. The world keeps moving like nothing happened. And suddenly, for the first time in maybe 40 years, you're sitting in complete silence wondering, did any of those people actually care about me? Or did they only care about what I could do for them? Yeah, that question hits hard. Especially for men. Especially for people who spent their entire lives working, providing, sacrificing, helping everybody else while secretly ignoring themselves. And here's the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Retirement exposes the truth about your relationships faster than anything else in life. Because once your title disappears, once the paycheck stops, once you're no longer useful to everybody around you, you find out real quick who is genuine and who is just convenient. And man, that realization hurts. But listen carefully, because this might be the most important thing you hear today. Sometimes the reason you feel lonely after retirement isn't because people abandoned you. Sometimes it's because retirement finally removes all the noise that distracted you from yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that silence is not punishment. Maybe it's peace. See, society lied to people for years. They told us a successful life meant being constantly surrounded by people. Big friend groups, busy weekends, barbecues, golf buddies, social circles. But a lot of those same people secretly go home feeling emotionally exhausted, unseen, and completely disconnected. Meanwhile, some retired old guy sitting quietly on his porch with a cup of coffee, watching the sunrise, is more at peace than anybody in the room. Why? Because peace and popularity are not the same thing. And the older you get, the more you realize protecting your peace matters more than protecting appearances. You stop wanting fake conversations. You stop wanting drama. You stop wanting exhausting friendships where you're always the one reaching out first. You stop caring about being included in every little thing. And honestly, that's not bitterness. That's growth. That's wisdom finally kicking in after decades of emotional nonsense. One retired man said something that absolutely shocked me. He said, "The older I got, the more I realized most friendships were just people killing time together." Who you? That line hit deep. Because a lot of adult friendships are built around convenience, not connection. Coworkers become friends because you see them every day. Neighbors become close because they live nearby. Parents connect because their kids go to the same school. But once life changes, most of those relationships quietly disappear. And maybe that's not betrayal. Maybe that's just reality. But retirement forces you to face that reality head on. And let's be honest, a lot of people are terrified of being alone. Not because solitude is painful, but because they never learned how to enjoy their own company. They spent their whole life distracting themselves with noise, obligations, routines, social expectations, and constant busyness. Then retirement arrives, and suddenly there's nowhere left to run. It's just you and your thoughts. And for some people, that's scary as hell. But for others, it becomes freedom. Real freedom. Freedom from pretending. Freedom from exhausting social performances. Freedom from constantly trying to impress people who honestly weren't thinking about you that much anyway. And maybe somebody watching this right now needs to hear this, because you've been blaming yourself for growing distant from people. Maybe you've been wondering why you don't enjoy socializing like you used to. Maybe you feel guilty because you actually enjoy staying home, enjoying quiet mornings, peaceful afternoons, and simple living. Let me tell you something right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Maybe your soul is just tired. Tired of fake energy. Tired of meaningless conversations. Tired of carrying relationships that stopped being real years ago. And retirement gives you permission to finally let go. Not out of anger. Not out of hate. But out of self-respect. Because time suddenly feels valuable when you get older. You stop wasting it on people who drain you. You stop forcing connections that no longer feel natural. And you finally start asking yourself one powerful question. What kind of life actually makes me happy? Not society. Not your old coworkers. Not random people online. You. And sometimes the answer surprises people. Sometimes happiness looks quiet. Sometimes happiness looks like gardening in silence. Fishing alone. Taking a long drive with no destination. Sitting outside listening to rain hit the porch roof while the world slows down for a minute. Those moments become sacred after a lifetime of chaos. And honestly, younger people don't fully understand that yet because they're still addicted to noise. Constant notifications. Constant attention. Constant validation. But older people eventually realize something younger generations are still chasing. Peace is the real flex. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying human connection doesn't matter. Real friendship absolutely matters. Genuine love matters. Loyalty matters. But retirement teaches you the difference between real connection and emotional dependency. That's the lesson. Because a lot of people don't actually miss friendship after retirement. They miss feeling needed. Big difference. One retired firefighter admitted something heartbreaking. He said, "When people stopped depending on me, I didn't know who I was anymore." And man, that line explains why so many retirees struggle emotionally. Their identity was built around usefulness, around fixing problems, providing, showing up, being dependable. Then one day, all that stops, and suddenly they feel invisible. But here's the truth nobody tells older people enough. Your value is never supposed to come only from what you do for others. Your existence alone matters. You don't have to earn your worth every single day. And once that realization clicks, something changes inside you. You stop chasing approval. You stop begging people to notice you. You stop overextending yourself just to feel included. And for the first time in years, maybe decades, you breathe differently. You feel lighter, stronger, calmer. That's why some retirees secretly become happier after their social circles shrink. Because they finally stop carrying emotional weight that was never theirs to carry. And yeah, some people will misunderstand you. Some people will call you distant, cold, antisocial. But those same people never saw how emotionally exhausted you were trying to keep everybody else comfortable. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's survival, especially after 60. And let's talk about something else nobody likes discussing: family. Because sometimes the biggest heartbreak after retirement isn't losing friends. It's realizing your own family barely knows the real you. A lot of fathers spent decades providing financially while emotionally disappearing. Not intentionally. Life moved fast. Responsibilities piled up. Survival came first. Then retirement arrives, and suddenly there's time to think, time to feel, time to notice the emotional distance inside your own home. That realization hurts deeply, but it can also become a second chance. Because retirement is not just an ending. It can be a rebirth if you allow it. It can be the chapter where you finally become emotionally present. The chapter where you stop performing strength and start embracing honesty. The chapter where you realize vulnerability is not weakness. It's humanity. And maybe that's why so many older people eventually become wiser than everybody else in the room. They stop pretending life is about status, popularity, or constant social activity. They realize life is really about peace, purpose, health, and a few genuine connections that actually mean something. That's it. Everything else is noise. So if you're watching this and feeling lonely after retirement, I want you to understand something very clearly. Your life is not over because the crowd got smaller. Sometimes the crowd had to disappear so you could finally hear yourself think. Sometimes losing fake relationships creates room for real peace. And sometimes solitude is not emptiness at all. Sometimes it's healing, deep healing, the kind your soul needed for years. So stop measuring your happiness by how many people text you first. Stop measuring your worth by how socially busy you are. And stop chasing people who already emotionally left your life a long time ago. Let them go. Bless them and let them go. Because the older you get, the more you realize energy is precious. Time is precious. Peace is precious. And protecting those things becomes one of the most important responsibilities of your life. If this message hit home for you, comment below and tell me honestly. Do you think retirement brings freedom or loneliness? I really want to hear your story. And if you know somebody struggling silently after retirement, share this video with them because sometimes people don't need more advice. They just need someone to finally say the truth out loud. And remember this before you leave today. Growing older is not about becoming less valuable. It's about becoming more real. And real peace will always be worth more than fake company. And before you click away, let me leave you with something deeply important, especially if you're retired, getting older, or quietly struggling with loneliness in ways nobody around you fully understands. Please stop believing your life loses meaning just because the world becomes quieter around you. That's one of the biggest lies society ever sold people. Your value is not measured by how many people call you every day, how busy your social calendar looks, or how many fake friendships you maintain just to avoid being alone. Real life gets very different after 60. You start seeing people clearly. You start noticing who only showed up when you were useful, who disappeared when life slowed down, and who genuinely cared about your well-being. Don't let that realization make you bitter. Let it make you wiser. Protect your peace like it's gold, because honestly, at this stage of life, it is. Spend more time doing things that calm your spirit instead of draining your energy. Go outside more often. Take walks without rushing. Listen to old music that reminds you of who you used to be before stress took over your life. Call the people who truly matter. Forgive yourself for mistakes you made years ago. Stop replaying regrets in your head every night because life already moved forward and you deserve peace too. And please understand this. Being alone is not the same as being abandoned. Sometimes solitude is healing. Sometimes silence is where your soul finally rests after decades of pressure, responsibility, sacrifice, and emotional exhaustion. Don't be ashamed if your circle became smaller. A smaller circle often means a calmer life. That's wisdom, not failure. Also, take care of your health now more than ever. Eat better when you can. Move your body, even if it's just slow walks around the block. Drink water. Sleep properly. Laugh more. Stress less. Your body carried you through an entire lifetime, so treat it with respect instead of punishment. And emotionally, stop carrying relationships that only survive because you keep saving them. Real relationships should not feel like emotional labor every single day. If somebody constantly drains your spirit, disrespects your time, ignores your presence, or only remembers you when they need something, you have every right to create distance. Peace matters. Mental health matters. Your remaining years matter. Don't waste them chasing people who already emotionally checked out of your life years ago. Instead, focus on becoming comfortable with yourself. Learn how to enjoy your own company. That's a superpower most people never develop. Sit outside with your coffee in the morning. Watch sunsets. Read books. Work in the garden. Pray, reflect. Slow down enough to actually experience life instead of constantly escaping it. And if you still have one or two people who genuinely love you, appreciate them deeply, because true connection is rare in this world. Very rare. Don't overlook loyal people while chasing attention from temporary ones. And to every older man watching this right now, who secretly feels invisible after retirement, hear me carefully. Your usefulness is not your identity. You matter even when you're resting. You matter even when nobody needs anything from you. You matter because you're human, not because you're productive. Never forget that. Retirement is not the end of life. It's the first time many people finally have a chance to live honestly. So stop apologizing for wanting peace. Stop feeling guilty for avoiding drama. Stop forcing yourself into spaces that no longer feel genuine. You earned the right to protect your energy. And maybe the biggest lesson of all is this. Happiness in old age is not about having more people around you. It's about finally feeling calm inside your own soul. If this message touched your heart, even a little bit, leave a comment below and share your experience, because your story might help somebody else feel less alone tonight. And if you stayed until the end, thank you for spending these moments with me. Take care of yourself. Seriously, the world needs more peaceful people, not more exhausted ones.